It is a strange vision that is presented to our eyes today. We are called to recall the great temple of God built on Mount Moriah in the city of Jerusalem, first by Solomon and then rebuilt by the faithful exiles returning from Babylon, and built up and purified and consecrated and sanctified by the blood of martyrs during the Maccabean period and throughout the time. We see it now in the scriptures, possessed and abused by the sect of the high priests and the Sadducees, and yet we still see faithful priests serving the ordinances and the commandments of God. The temple of God, one of the wonders of the world, the bright and shining jewel shining on the crown of the hill of Jerusalem, a marvel and a wonder to those who approach the holy city. And now, on this day, ascending the heights of the temple, coming from whatever village of Judea in which she had been born and raised, we see the infant mother of God, or rather no longer an infant. She begins to speak. She walks on her own feet. She has left her mother's breast, and her parents bring this unexpected child of promise, offering her back to the Lord, who had granted her to them as the fulfillment of decades of yearning and hopes. We see the little girl leave her parents' hands behind and ignore the invitation of the priest Zacharias, who invites her to ascend the steps. We see her walk up the steps herself, unguided, unled, or perhaps led invisibly by the hand and light of an angel. We see her walk into the outer court, where the sacrifices were made day and night in fulfillment of the commandments of God. And we see her go beyond the brazen altar of burnt offering. And we hear the people gasp and wonder who will reach out and stop the little girl who has already gone farther than she should as she approaches the great doors of the holy place. We see them open for her as though she were expected, and she walks inside, beyond the gaze of the people. And the priest stands shocked as the little girl, 3 years old, walks with certainty and confidence towards the altar of incense that stands at the center before the great veil that separates the priests of God from the presence of the Most High in the Holy of Holies. And we see her slip inside of the veil and take her place where the Ark of the Covenant once had been, but where Pompey, the Roman general, the last person before her to barge his way into the Holy of Holies, had wondered to find nothing, empty space, where God's people worshipped him as he wandered, only with the mind. There is no image. Now, this little girl, 3 years old, sits where the Ark of the Covenant ought by rights to be. We marvel that no one went and grabbed her and threw her out. We wonder that no one tackled the little girl as she ascended the steps. But a great sign and wonder is given to us today. For that temple built by Solomon, by Ezra, and by Herod, the temple is gone. The only wall that remains is a retaining wall to hold in the fill that once supported it. Solomon and Ezra and Herod lie in their graves. And although we have built a glorious temple here on this hill to honor the name of the Most High God whom we worship and serve, we have learned a wondrous truth from this little girl, 3 years old, that God does not dwell in temples built with human hands. He deigns, he accepts for a time that his name may dwell in this place. He accepts the offering that we have given. But the place where he dwells is in the hearts of those who follow him, of those who seek him earnestly, of those who offer the temple of their body in worship of the one who comes and takes upon himself, wonder of wonders, our broken and beggared flesh, to heal us and raise us up. This little girl, 3 years old, whose entrance into the temple we celebrate today, heralds and proclaims for us a profound change. That the tabernacle in the desert and the temple in Jerusalem were foreshadowings, were prophecies of the great and glorious promise that is now fulfilled, that God comes indeed to dwell in the midst of his people, not simply in a house, but in our hearts, that we carry him everywhere that we go in the world, that this little girl who grew up to be the very mother and birth giver of God is a prototype of every Christian, that we are called to carry the Lord all the days of our lives. Today, with the miracle of the little girl coming into the temple of God, everything is transformed. And we see the revelation of the promise of God given to the prophet Isaiah, the promise of Emmanuel, the promise of God with us. And it is right and proper that on this day we begin to sing, as we will sing until the day of Christmas itself, Christ is born, glorify him. Christ is come from heaven, go to meet him. Christ is descended to earth, let us arise to him. Let us sing to the Lord, all you nations, and everything that breathes on this earth. For our God has come to us. He brings healing and peace. May we walk in this, his glory that dwells in our midst all the days of our lives. Please stand and we will continue the divine liturgy.